Every bond carries its own hidden tale, and behind every tale lies a trace of sorrow. Welcome to Cheating Stories Insights, where unvarnished truth is carved into words. She slowed the car just enough before the push. The door flung open, the asphalt racing past beneath the wheels, and her hand pressed against my shoulder as though I were nothing more than unwanted weight to be discarded. I hit the ground hard, tumbling, the metallic taste of blood coating my mouth. The red glow of her taillights disappeared into the darkness. 3 weeks later, she sat across from me and asked if I had done any soul-searching. I didn't bother answering. Instead, I slid the stack of papers across the table. The color drained from her face. Her daughter's mask shattered, and for the first time in a long while, silence favored me. It hadn't begun with that night. It began with whispers I was never meant to hear. Accusations spilling from her daughter's lips. At first disguised as harmless remarks, later sharpened into deliberate slander. Words cloaked in feigned concern. She deserves better. He only cares about her money. He's controlling. I brushed it off as childish spite, resentment I could never remedy. I believed my wife knew me better. I believed our love was strong enough to outweigh lies. But privilege is a dangerous shield. It twists reality, bends trust, and turns truth into something optional. The night she pulled me into that car, her grip was icy, her resolve rehearsed. She didn't ask for my explanation.
She didn't want one.
By the time the door swung open, her judgment had already been delivered. Survival forces clarity. Battered, aching, I patched myself up in silence. No police, no confidants, no desperate justifications, only patience and calculation. Her daughter's venom wasn't born in a vacuum. It had roots. A boyfriend she didn't want revealed. Money funneled away before her mother noticed. Secrets I uncovered while they were busy crafting their accusations against me. I followed the trail quietly, bank statements, text threads, digital breadcrumbs leading from her account straight to him. With each revelation, my attachment withered further. This wasn't simply betrayal. It was a performance, a staged humiliation designed to exile me while she paraded as the loyal daughter, the dutiful heir. But now I possessed the script. When I gathered everything, the evidence was undeniable. Transfers disguised as tuition payments. Receipts for weekends that were supposedly study retreats. Messages dripping with contempt for the very mother she manipulated for validation. My wife thought she was protecting her child, when in truth, she was financing her destruction. The day she called me back, it felt orchestrated like a negotiation. She wanted to test whether silence had broken me, whether I'd crawl back begging for crumbs of affection. She asked again if I had reflected. I had, but not in the way she hoped. The papers I laid before her were flawless and complete. Divorce filings. Asset division. Every document prepared, timed, and legally bound. Her hand trembled as she lifted them. "What is this?"
she asked.
Her daughter leaned in, poison ready to spill, but the exhibits clipped to the back stopped her cold. Screenshots. Bank transactions.
Proof of theft.
Clear evidence of manipulation. Her bravado fractured in an instant. Her mother's eyes darted between me and her child, confusion colliding with dawning realization. The girl tried to stammer denials, but each page cut her voice thinner, until nothing remained but panic. The betrayal was no longer mine to carry. It belonged to them. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't savor the moment. I simply stood, adjusted my jacket, and before walking out, I left them with a single line. "You trusted her lies once. Now trust the evidence." The room imploded behind me, my wife's desperate voice chasing answers, her daughter's shrill panic clashing against walls of privilege that could no longer shield her. I never turned back. Now, in solitude, I reflect, not with regret, but with clarity. Love doesn't vanish in an instant. It erodes slowly, grain by grain, until betrayal finally forces it into the light. I gave her my trust. She repaid it with suspicion. I offered loyalty. She returned deception. In the end, I gave her freedom, not as mercy, but as consequence. The cruelest truth is simple. I was never the mistake. They were. And unlike them, I require no forgiveness to endure. I only need distance. So I walk away, cold, silent, detached, leaving their empire of lies to consume itself. Exactly the way they taught me to be.